ever since 2.0 launched, there have been people claiming that, you know, the game is in a terrible state. The game sucks. Well, even before 2.0 launched, that was the case. People have been hating on Wuthering Waves for as long as the game has existed. Now, I did 2 different videos. One a day ago, one yesterday, or 2 days ago and then yesterday. This one was going over the diversity in terms of characters and also how good the 2.0 core cast looked. 32,000 views. Everyone agreed. Now, there were a few haters there saying that the NPCs in 2.0 do look really bad. They look very generic, you know, uninspired, not very high fantasy, and that is fine. You don't have to like them, but you can't deny the fact that they do look good, right? I think I did a video just yesterday, and in that video, I went over how, as of, I think, less than 12 hours after the game launched onto PlayStation 5, it actually hit number 2 on the PlayStation Store. It was more popular and outgrossing all the other games except for Genshin's new update, which is really good for a non-Hoyo title. Not just that, but to confirm just how well 2.0 was doing, Solon Lee, the CEO of Kudo, revealed in a message that was released to, I believe, some of the staff in the company. His exact words were, "The new version exceeded player expectations. Feedback from the community and surveys highlighted significant improvements in content quality and quality compared to previous versions." And then he went on to state, "Wuthering Waves achieved its highest single-day revenue since launch." So 2.0, day 1, had earned more than at any point in the game's life, right? And that is what I did my video on. I pointed that out. I discussed how it was a phenomenal achievement for Kudo. The video is already on track to hit 40,000 views, probably in the next couple hours. I thought it was great. Many people on social media thought it was great, but there were comments nonetheless that were left. There are already 751 here. Comments left saying, "This is fake. This is fake information. We shouldn't believe the public statement that was made by the CEO himself." Now, very rarely do studios actually release information on the success or failure of a game, right? They, you know, when games release, we have various different online sources that we can use, like AppMagic, like Sensor Tower. Those are wildly inaccurate, but they're at least, I guess, they provide you the opportunity to at least kind of gauge how the game is doing, roughly. Now, I had messages left on YouTube. I had messages left on Twitter, all saying that this was fake, we shouldn't believe it, etc., etc. And even Wuthering, the post over on our Gotcha Gaming, which I'm sure you all know how anti-woo-wah they are there, was reposted or had the flare changed or something with a moderator that actually came and publicly confirmed the authenticity of the letter. She went on to state, "A few hours following the posting of this alleged internal letter to the subreddit, members expressed skepticism about its legitimacy due to the nature of a third-party news outlet being the one to publicize the message, as opposed to an official account operated by Kudo Games. Following these concerns, we reached out to our contact at Kudo Games," and I'm assuming they have this contact because they held a giveaway for Woo-wah, I don't remember when, it was recently, with a request for comment in an attempt to verify the authenticity of the letter. We have since received a response to our request for comment with a confirmation that the internal message from Kudo Game CEO Solon is legitimate. Here is the direct quote received by us in response to our request for comment. "Yes, the internal message of Solon is true. We are all glad about what we have achieved on the version 2.0, and we will continue to do better." So it was 100% confirmed that there have been significant improvements in terms of quality and quantity, and that it exceeded their expectations, player expectations. They also confirmed then that revenue was at an all-time high for the game. As a result, this post will remain up because people tried to have it taken down for whatever reason. I'm not going to go into detail as to why any group, collective, community would want to have this removed. I don't see how this is damaging to any community at all to know that another game is making good money and doing good with their community. Its flare has been returned to normal. We appreciate the members who respectfully questioned the contents of the letter and awaited further updates or confirmation, included the quote received in response to our tweet. So I think you know, being skeptical is fine, but immediately labeling this as fake, immediately spreading rumors and misinformation that it's all a lie is just like, I don't know what kind of mental state you need to be in to see that and be like, no, it's all fake. It's all fake. No, can't be real. It can't be. Nope. Here's an example of the tweet. Bro, like, please stop. Y'all don't even know if it's 100% real. It's some supposedly leaked letter from a fucking WeChat group. Calm down. Every single public site says otherwise of what this letter says, so at least wait for an official notice about it. And like, I'm not using this guy, you know, as a means to say he's a hater. I'm just, you know, using this as a tweet that was, you know, meant to reference what people are saying, that it's fake. And I do believe, because this popped up in my feed earlier, he did state that, I think he made a follow-up on that. I can't find it, but at the very least, he did admit to being wrong here after it was confirmed to be real and legitimate. Additionally, Wuwa actually hit the #1 most popular game on Bilibili China after the release of version 2.0. It was more popular than Genshin, more popular than Black Myth Wukong, more popular than Honkai Star Rail. Wuthering Waves in China hit #1. It is top 3 in China, Korea, global, Japan. On Bilibili, it is top 1. And people think sales for the game are low, at an all-time low. They're saying it's in the red, and it is at the lowest point it has been at. It is absolutely wild. Just earlier in the day, it was #3, and within hours, it moved all the way up to #1. And then I happened to see this, and I thought to myself, you know what? A lot of people have used Google Trends to attack Wuthering Waves and say that the game is dead, right? Let's go ahead and look at Google Trends. Let's see where Wuthering Waves is right now. You guys want to see? Let's sort this by the last 90 days, okay? Because it's going to include the last 2 patches. And this is set to United States. Let's set this to worldwide. Okay, this is 100% accurate. All categories, 90 days, worldwide. All right, I think, yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume 2.0 was a pretty damn big success comparatively to anything released in the last 3 months. That is pretty good. That is Carlotta, Zani, Carlotta, Brandt. Interesting searches. This is actually incredibly high. But I mean, there are probably people out there saying, well, I mean, sure, when used as a comparison against itself. So let's go ahead here and compare it to other games then. All right, let's see the Google Trends for other games. Let's compare this to, what should we compare it to? Let's compare it to Arknights. Let's go through games one by one. Okay, there's Arknights, right? Now, Arknights it didn't have a major patch, so it's fine. We can't compare it to Arknights. Let's check Blue Archive. Okay, about the same, right? Let's compare it to Tower of Fantasy. So Arknights and hold on. Can we just hold on? Wait. What's that? Poor Tower of Fantasy chat. At like a 1 or a 2. Okay, sorry. Let me remove these. Okay, let's compare this to other games. Let's compare this to bigger games. All right. What should we compare it to? Let's compare it to Zenless Zone Zero. Now, this is not indicative of how good a game is. This is not indicative of how popular a game is, but it is indicative of how well the game is doing right now. And since people are using Google Trends as an example of how popular a game is, let's see how it's doing versus Zenless Zone Zero, okay? All right. So, you know what? I think that is still good. Those are still good. You know, all games have their peaks, right? And their declines. So I think this is good for both, but nobody can deny this peak right here is astronomical, okay? Now, this is not an insult to Zenless, because Zenless is a phenomenal game. It is really good, and from what I've heard of 1.4, it's even better. This is not saying Zenless is bad. This is not saying Zenless is dead. That is not what this comparison is for. This comparison is just to show Wuthering Waves right now is incredibly popular. You know what? Let's compare this to, what else? Honkai Star Rail, right? Let's compare this to Honkai Star Rail. We'll include Honkai Star Rail versus Zenless as well. Here we go. There's Honkai Star Rail chat. Now, again, these are trends, and this is not definitive of how good or popular a game is permanently. This is just to be used as an example, as a gauge. So on average, Wuthering Waves and Honkai Star Rail are relatively close in terms of search volume. Zenless is, at least recently, has picked up, and all 3 of them are relatively tied. While Honkai Star Rail did see a pretty substantial peak on January 1st, it was still significantly lower than Wuthering Waves. So evidently, anyone that is saying Wuthering Waves is an absolute failure and that 2.0 is doing poorly, by that same train of thought, they must also think Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero are even bigger failures, right? I'm not saying Wuthering Waves is a better game. I'm not saying it's a more popular game, but just looking at the trends, if WUWA is on average tying with both of these games, and at times surpassing, and at times dipping beneath, right? On average, if it is dead, and you know, by the logic of haters, it is, then are Honkai Star Rail and Zenless not also dead? Most people do think Zenless is dead. If people think Zenless is dead, then they're idiots, because Zenless is far from dead. I'm sorry. Now let's compare this to Genshin. Now I'm going to immediately state I do think Genshin is going to be higher than all of these games. Let's find out. Okay, it does look like search volume for Genshin was higher than search volume for WUWA, which again, as I noted, is not an indication that any game is bigger or better, but it is definitely higher. The search volume for it is significantly higher than any other game. But as you can see, if people are claiming Genshin is, you know, the pinnacle of whether a game is to be considered alive or dead, and on average, Genshin is ranking at like a 40 to 50 in terms of search volume, and WUWA for 2.0 has been at least a 60 or a 50 to a 70, then 2.0 right now is as alive or even more alive than Genshin is on average. Now, I do, like, this is going to continue to dip down like all of this does, but 2.0 is as popular, theoretically, in terms of, again, search volume, as Genshin is. So anyone that's saying the game is dead is saying every other game here is dead. Anyone that is saying 2.0 was a failure means everything else here is a failure. So if WUWA 2.0 is a failure, what do they define is a success? Genuine question. Hey, where do you think you're going? I see what you're doing there. I see you navigating on over, scrolling on over to that X button. Don't you dare. What I need you to do is take a moment and click one of the videos that are about to appear as soon as I'm done talking. And trust me, you're gonna wanna.